Hi everyone, this is Cody, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review of the Samsung Galaxy S5. So, let's start off with the hardware. So, here's the phone. So it has a 5.1 inch screen. Now that's actually quite a big screen compared to what I was used to. So I had an iPod Touch 4th generation, and it has a 3.5 inch screen. So this is going to be equivalent to an iPhone 4 or 4S in size, and as you can see, it's a lot smaller. So you can reach the top corner really easily with it just in the palm of your hand. Whereas on this, you're only going to be able to reach kind of here without stretching, but I mean you can stretch up there. It's just slightly harder to use with one hand, but it's certainly doable, and those two hands it works fine. But I think it is worth it for the extra screen real estate. But anyway, it has the speaker up there, then the sensors here, a camera, IR blaster, microphone, headphone port. Then on the bottom, it has a USB port, USB 3 actually, and it is covered. And you might be thinking, why is that covered? That's because it is IP67 certified, so dust proof and water resistant up to 1 meter for 30 minutes. So there's the USB 3 port. So I'll close that. You have to make sure you get it closed good, otherwise it's not actually going to be waterproof. So then here's the home button. There's a little trick up its sleeve. It's actually a fingerprint scanner, so that's cool. Then underneath here, so the back actually pops off like this. So you have the seal that goes around. So all the camera and the speaker, they're actually waterproof and everything. So just what you see the seal covers is not. So here's a SIM card, and it does have a slot for a micro SD card. You can expand it up to 128 gigabytes, which is pretty awesome. Most phones don't allow that. You can also change out your battery at any time, so that's also pretty great. So this just clips on, but you have to make sure it's clipped on properly to make it waterproof or water resistant. So I'm going to go around all the edges, double check it. That would not be good if you put this in water and that wasn't clipped on good. So the screen, it's an AMOLED screen. So basically the pixels that aren't being used, so the black pixels, are going to be off. So that can mean some pretty cool stuff for saving battery power. Obviously you can see this is the AT&T version. Here it has a camera flash as well as a heart rate sensor. So that's actually pretty cool. It seems to work good, but I mean, I don't see a reason why you would buy it for that. The camera is 16 megapixels, so it's actually a pretty good camera. We'll go more into that later. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about quality, so of sound quality mainly. So first off, the speaker on the back, it is pretty good. It's not as good as probably phones that aren't waterproof. But compared to my old iPod Touch, it is a lot better, a lot louder. But I've actually heard it's not all that good. There's phones now like the HTC One M8. That thing is going to have way better sound than this. But the speaker's okay. I mean, it gets the job done. Now the call quality, the microphone on this is great. Like on the other end, it sounds amazing. No problems at all. Very clear. The speaker is pretty good. I mean I think it's good. It gets the job done. It's definitely better than a lot of phones, but it's not anything amazing. But yeah, so that's what the quality's like on it. For the sound, it's pretty good. But in terms of speakers, you know, you're probably going to want to use headphones if you're going to listen to music or something. Okay, so now let's have a look at some of the software. So, as you can see, there's a fingerprint sensor. That works great, for me at least. Over 90% of the time if you do it correctly. It works with multiple fingers. Now, if you don't do it correctly, like sideways, it's not going to work. You have to just do it straight. But it does work good. So then you can customize pretty much anything on this phone, but usually it comes with the weather and time, so that's pretty cool. And the image changes based on the weather, so that actually kind of gives a different feel based on the weather, so that's cool. There's a cool widget you can get, which is torch, so it basically, you can just turn it on and on like that, on and off. Then you've got your phone messaging, and then all your apps are going to be in here. Lots of apps. And then camera. The camera is good. We'll get into that in a second. Then you can pull down from the top and see quick settings. If you tap on settings, there's a ton of settings. So if there's something that's not on here that you want, I would be surprised. So then here's a widget for music. I added that. That's pretty cool. Then it tracks your steps and your heartbeat. So that's good, I guess. I don't really use that, but it's another thing it has. There's actually another cool app you can have. I think it comes on a magnifier, so it can magnify things really close. Now it does have a barometer built into it, as you can see here. It's somewhat accurate. Obviously the elevation needs to be calibrated to work properly, but the barometer actually seems pretty good. I have that on my watch, so I don't really need it, but it's a nice feature. So if you say, "Okay, Google," that brings up Google Now. So you can ask it what the time is. You can ask it really anything, and that is really fast and awesome. So that's great. So I think that's pretty much it for software. One more thing. Most people, if they swipe this way, they're going to get My Magazine. I've disabled that, as I don't really use it. You just go into home screen settings and disable it. One more thing on the software before we jump to the camera is if your home button isn't all that responsive, which it's probably not, and you don't actually use S-Voice, which is what comes up if you double tap the home button, it's much better to hold it down and get Google Now. As if you just hold it down, you get Google Now. So you can go into settings, go to the bottom, go to S-Voice, and then turn off open via home key. And that way your home key is going to be much more responsive, since it doesn't have to wait for a second tap every time. So I would definitely recommend doing that if you don't use S-Voice. So now let's have a look at the camera. Okay, so if you click on camera, it's going to open up the camera. Now this camera I think is pretty awesome. There's a few things I don't like about it, and I'll mention them, but the camera quality is great, and we'll go over that a little more. So under modes, you have auto, which is what you're mostly going to be using this on. Oops, what did I do? I clicked. That's also one other thing. It's really easy to hit the multitask button if you're taking a picture, but that's just something you have to get used to. So under modes, there's auto, beauty face, which apparently tries to edit out stuff. It seems, I'm not going to use it. Oops, I accidentally clicked on that. I'm going to go to auto. So under auto, you can have lots of different settings, which is great. Now the cool thing is, video, you can actually bump it up to 4K UHD. Now that's not going to be able to record for very long, and you can't use stabilization with it, but it's pretty awesome. It has the ability to do that. So you have 16 megapixel pictures. Now they're actually in 16:9 aspect ratio. Picture stabilization, that's one of those things that sometimes I have it on, sometimes I have it off. If you're in very well lit environments, it's not going to use it, as it doesn't really need it. Now if you're in a darker environment, if you're taking a picture of a still image, I would have it on. But if you're taking a picture of something moving, I would turn it off and just let it use the flash. That's from my experience anyway. So then it actually has live HDR, which is actually pretty cool. Selective focus, that's another cool thing. I don't actually use it, but it allows you to change the focus point after the fact. Then there's the front camera, which, as you can see, there's me. It automatically changes it to beauty face, so you have to go and click auto. So that's a little bit annoying, but I haven't found a way to get rid of that, so I guess you just have to change that. So yeah, I think that's just about everything with the camera. There's a ton of settings. You can change the shutter sound, and you can also have voice control, so that's pretty cool. So you can do shoot, and I'll shoot the picture. Cheese, takes a picture. Record video, and it records video. So that's actually really cool that it can do that. So now I'm going to display some images and video that I've taken with it. Okay, so here's 1080p video. There's some wind noise, no stabilization. I'm just walking along, trying to be steady. So, as you can see, it does a pretty nice job. Okay, so here it is with stabilization. I'm just doing the same, trying to be pretty steady. The video quality really is amazing. The sound quality, it's okay. We'll find out what it's like. I can tap to focus while in video. I can also take pictures while I'm in video. So I'll do that right now. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, so this is the front-facing camera, just walking along. It's pretty good. It's very wide angle. You can get a lot in shot, so that's nice. The quality's good. It's full 1080p, 2 megapixels, so that's actually pretty good. I mean, it's not the best camera, but for a front-facing camera, it's actually quite nice. Again, you can take pictures while in video, and it doesn't disrupt the video at all. So I'm just doing this one-handed. I can go out all the way and get a ton in shot, so that's actually quite nice. Okay, a couple more things. So first I'm going to do Geekbench. So what I'm going to do, so here it shows all of the system specs. So it has a Snapdragon 801 clocked at 2.46 gigahertz. It has, well, it basically has 2 gigabytes of RAM, but it says 1.81. And currently it's running Android 4.4.2. So hopefully Android Lollipop will come out for this soon. But anyway, so I'm going to run benchmark. I'll probably speed it up a bit while it's running, and then we'll see what the score is. Okay, so as you can see, has a score of 930 single core. So that's pretty good, but what really shines is the multi-core 2,879. So that is great. Then it also shows all of the specs and everything again. I'll just scroll through the scores so you can see them if you want. So this is really quite a powerful phone, and it doesn't actually seem to get slowed down too much, but it does have a pretty heavy overlay with TouchWiz. Some people like it, some people don't. I actually like it, so that's good. So one last test. This is probably something you're going to want to see. So I will be right back. Okay, so for the final test, what I'm going to do, I've got a thing full of water. So now what I'm going to do is unlock it. And I'm just going to set it in the water. So as you can see, it's fully submerged. It doesn't work underwater, but so you can see it's there. So now I'm going to take it out. You're probably going to want to dry it off. If you put it in water, take the back off, dry off all the things that aren't actually covered. So anyway, that's been it. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and I have to dry it off before the screen works. Let me do that quick. Okay, so I dried off the screen, and it's just it didn't work. The screen didn't work when the water's on it, but it works fine now. Took off the back, dried off everything that's not actually covered by the seal, just so water doesn't sit in there, and it works great now. So hopefully you liked the review. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you all in the next video.